All right, it's 7 o'clock. Are you guys ready to start? He might be late, because he was coming from work, and he had a heck of a day. Are you ready, Tom and Darlene? Okay. I'm going to call this meeting to order. In attendance this evening are Supervisors Cassiola, Barney, Fleer, and Fisher, as well as Don Januso, Sean Bukovinsky, Bill Bodorf, Teddy Waldo. Oh my gosh, I can't talk. Sorry, it's going to be a long night. And Cindy Stevens. Administrative items are 204, 2023, consider adoption of the preliminary 2024 budget. Cindy, do you just want to start? I'll let you run this part.
Dawn and I worked with the department heads. We started, we put out the memo in September and asked department heads to give us input on the budget. And after receiving all the information from everybody and meeting with them, Dawn and I are happy to present you tonight with a balanced general fund budget for 2024. There is an increase in the budget for next year of $321,700. So we can look at it by each department, starting with the revenues. So the real estate, the property taxes, I lowered by $40,000 the current real estate taxes. That we're not going to meet this year. It doesn't look like we're going to meet what we projected for this year. It appears as though maybe some people are opting to pay them late. So I did lower that by $40,000.
We had so many starts this year up just even in McConnell Trails alone that wouldn't have been reflected yet. People have just moved in. If they have anything, they'd have a partial payment. But next year, all those houses that we didn't pick up this year, I just think it's going to be a lot better than it was last year.
Yeah, but we're going to lose other places where we can't predict it, so I'd rather be safe
Where
than
are we going to
sorry.
lose? What do you
We're
think?
going to lose EIT when
Yeah.
the businesses in South Point pull out.
Well, so what,
And we know we're not hitting the number now, or we know we're not hitting 3215 now, so why wouldn't we be conservative on that? If we can balance the budget with a conservative number, I'd rather get to the end of next year and have a surplus than a loss.
all right.
What happens with all this earned income that we're going to lose?
Well, I don't think theoretically, I don't think we're going to lose a lot of earned income
Crown
tax.
Castle's leaving.
But you have to remember that a significant number of those people don't live in our township, first of all. Second of all,
Don't they pay earned income anywhere, or don't they pay a certain amount to the township?
to wherever you live,
Just, yeah,
to your municipality that you live in.
okay.
So, and the property tax on that building won't change because the owner still has to pay it, whether or not it's vacated by Crown. But, and you keep in mind, like, if I work for Crown and I live in Cecil Township, like my one friend, he's not moving, he's looking for another job, so he will still owe earned income tax to Cecil. But anyways, I would rather be, if we can balance the budget with a conservative number, I'd rather be conservative. Anyway, sorry, Cindy, go ahead.
That's all right.
Somebody buys that, you come in there, they don't get a tax abatement, do they?
No.
That's been going for years.
The whole South Point's gone for years now?
Yes.
Yeah, because it
Everything?
was a 5-year.
It was only a 5-year
In
abatement.
Lerda.
There's no-
So all those empty buildings, they're still paying taxes on them, because there's like 660,000 square feet of empty space in South Point. But we're still getting some tax revenue, but not as much as we probably should.
It doesn't change. Property tax doesn't change
Real
based on,
estate, right, real estate.
on
don't-
occupancy.
Right, I agree, but I also know that there's some people that aren't working right now, that they're being they lost their jobs with all that empty vacancy. Yeah.
I actually don't, I mean,
Well,
I
in the
think
next,
unemployment's not overly
I
high.
didn't mean the EIT, we're going to get less money. I think the new people, we're going to take more in. It's a she's talking about that, we have lower numbers, but we're gonna have a lot more to.
Well, in the next section for the local tax, where the EIT is, I did budget 150,000 less.
Okay.
To compensate. I mean, I think that's probably a little bit hot, like a little bit conservative, but
I
I'd
see.
rather be safe than sorry.
Right, so, I took into consideration what's going on in South Point and, just the economy as a whole right now. And I did, go on the conservative side for the earned income tax. Now, if that is too conservative and we collect more money, then that's good for us. It's good for the township.
Yep.
The one question I have for you is the real estate tax is leaned. We don't have any monies out, in other words, there's no leaned real estate property in Cecil
No,
Township.
it's not, that's,
No, it goes to the county, it goes to the tax claim bureau at the county. And the way Washington County works is when it gets turned over to the real estate tax claim, they'll sheriff sale the property.
Right.
They don't lien property, they sheriff sale in Washington County.
we're just anticipating none of those, that's happening this year. Can't plan on it.
Yeah, but like the French Club and Barry's building down there, weren't they lean?
Yeah, lien doesn't give us any money.
And it's not guaranteed when we'll get it.
Right, yeah, but that's why it's zero, because it doesn't turn into any money. I mean, it will someday.
And when will that be? Whenever they
When it sells or they pay
Or
it.
Or they die and it tries to transfer to the heirs that have
We-
to pay it.
We can't predict when that would
Right.
happen. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Cindy.
Okay, is everybody good with the local tax?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not saying I'm good with it, but,
Well, I meant, are we good with that section for now with questions? Okay, business licenses and permits. That's all pretty much stable. I just lowered the peddling permits. Everything else is pretty much still the same as it's been. Non-business licenses, that's the road encroachment permits, and that all just depends on water breaks, any time a road is open. Court fines, doing the same as last year.
that's out of our control.
Right. So our, magistrate fines, I lowered that. We're just not getting how it used to come in. It's been lower coming in. Other than that, everything is basically the same as what it's been in that section.
Can I go back 1 second?
Sure.
Don't you think if you up the transfer taxes would be higher?
The 900,000.
Ron, turn on your microphone or talk into it. Why would you, the year-end forecast for 2023 is only 825,000. So why would it be a lot higher?
You got all these houses going up in McConnell's, all the townhouses and everything.
Yeah, but the year-end forecast, so what we budgeted, we bumped that up to 1.1 last year, 1.1 million. And we're only taking in the 2023 year-end forecast, which means what we're projected to get for the year 2023 is significantly lower. So even that 900,000 is 75,000 more than what we're projected to get. But even that is high.
And that's,
Hold on, Darlene, one question at a time. Let's answer his question, then you can ask yours. Does that make sense?
Ron, we have no control of that at all. You
Right.
know, we've had some buildings that sold in South Point for 22 million. and
Yeah,
that's a-
I understand that.
Each house that's sold, you only get 0.5%.
Yeah. Darlene, what was your question?
Yes, my question here, that 2023 year-end forecast, would that be year-to-date?
No.
Not the year-end forecast? Because I know whenever you gave me the, what I requested from you, you crossed out year-end forecast and put year-to-date.
Yeah, I think I gave you a year-to-date one that you wanted. The year-end forecast is what I'm
So it's the same
forecasting
one.
for
It's-
the
it's-
end of the
yes,
year.
okay. So this is the year-end forecast, this one that's in front of
What
us
I'm
right now?
showing tonight, yeah.
Okay,
In other words, we haven't taken 825 yet.
yeah, right.
Right,
Here,
it's
see,
the,
year-to-date.
it's the year-to-date actual plus the forecast for November and December is what makes that up. Go ahead, Cindy.
Okay. On page 2, interest rates, you know, we certainly superseded what I had thought for this year. I did lower it for next year. We're spending some of the money that was collected interest on this year. That's why it's lower. I know rates are still at a good point right now. Hopefully they stay there, but there's no guarantee right now that rates are gonna stay where they're at.
And are they locked in, though, some of our certificates, are they locked in at
They're
the
locked
higher
in on
rate?
the certificates,
Okay,
but on like our just.
day-to-day,
Yeah, you know, on our accounts at Washington Financial, they're not on a locked-in rate. The rates at Pliget are not locked in, but the Pliget rates are actually good right now. Rents and royalties, that's the rent of generations. That's why it's rental of buildings. The royalties from natural resources, we have a property that we collect a little bit of a royalty off of. It's not much.
We don't care about those little items.
Cindy,
Yes.
can't we
Which
re-
one of us? Me
Either
or-
one. Can't
Oh,
we
sorry.
request
No,
an
you're
increase in rent over there?
Yes, and generations.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not even covering the power bill, is it, Dawn?
It's not, no.
I mean, that's crazy.
If we request it from the county, then we're not guaranteed to get it.
Probably not.
What's the power
But it
bill
doesn't-
run?
I mean, it certainly doesn't hurt if the board desires, I'll approach them, talk to them. I didn't know if you were talking about just outright rentals for parties.
No, I meant like
You meant for.
from the county.
From the county. Yeah, I mean, if the board desires, I can certainly approach the county.
Because it's what, $150
Yeah,
a month?
it's not very much.
Okay. Go ahead, Cindy, thank you.
Page 3, the state shared revenues. You know, PERDA, that's the set amount that you get. Liquor permits, there's gonna be a slight increase because you just transferred in another liquor license. Pension state aid, that varies every year. Horse racing, the foreign fire, Act 13, I did that conservatively because right now what they're saying is that is going to be reduced this year, or for next year. That came from, the state is saying to be conservative there. So that's why I did reduce that amount. Charges for services, that's, you know, I reduced one a little, well, both of them a little bit. Public safety, that's the special details the police do, services they do that we can collect money on. School crossing guards, reimbursement from the school for that. For the school resource officers, fire inspection fees, if we're able to get that program up and running where we're doing that, we can collect money there. Building and zoning permits, the money we take in on that program, of course, you know, we pay out, so you can't actually make money on that because you offset it with your expenses. Occupancy permits and burn permits. Highways, the snow removal, that's for Muse Bishop Road, and that's an amount that is agreed with PennDOT. sale of scrap and recycling bins, that's minor. The
That, sorry, go ahead.
Pavilion rental and soccer field rent.
That soccer field rental will actually be 10,000 this year. We just, did he tell you to send the invoice for fall?
No, she was busy.
Okay, so the invoice for the fall,
Uh-huh.
I gave Dawn the number, so that'll actually be 10,000 this year, so if you wanna bump that up to 10,000 next year.
Okay.
I mean, hopefully, we're able to build it out, we're almost there, but in the meantime, just as a conservative number.
Okay.
So that 5
That was just for spring.
for 2024 is 5,000.
That's what I'm telling her, to make it 10, is the income, because the actual income for 2023 will be, 10,150. I think that's what it is, it's, no,
And when-
9,150.
So we're gonna get another $4,000.
Yeah, I just told Dawn today that they're done renting it for the season, so, to send them a bill.
Does that cover our cost for all the
Yep.
weed control and,
We actually, I mean,
Everything?
not a lot, but we made a little bit of money over and above the weed control.
Okay, the
Sorry.
The transfer in, that'll be from the Act 13 money that comes in, that we have sitting in another account. And the transfer in for liquid fuels of 500,000, that'll be for next year's road program. Transfers that come in. And then just refund of prior year expenditures if we get, money back from PSATs or for workers' comp revenue, for having good dividends there, we get money back every year. So that's what makes up the 12,742, 379. Everybody okay with the revenues?
Yep. You can
Or
move.
not okay, but you know what I mean?
Ready to move on.
Legislative body, that's your sitting body, the elected officials, that's your salaries, FICA, Medicare, health insurance, dues and subscriptions, and any meetings and conferences. The executive, that covers
Sorry, go ahead.
executive, that covers salaries for the manager, assistant manager, receptionists, and of course, taxes associated with that, health insurance. Office supplies, we're keeping the same, no, we're bumping that up a little bit, and that's just, you know, inflation. Postage, it's going up. We tried to keep everything close to what this year has been. It's going up a little bit, you know, $8,000. Dawn, do you want to add anything to that section since that's you?
No.
Okay. Financial, that covers my salary, payroll taxes, health or HRA, and the auditors. Tax collection, that is the cost of Jordan Tax Service to do the collections. Legal services, that's Gretchen.
Did Gretchen send you the bill, or did you utilize last year's to come up with that 175?
This was based on last year's.
Hold on, let me see, my
We
computer's,
received an email from Gretchen.
that's what I was asking, me too.
This year's legal fees went down significantly from prior years.
Correct. Right, so to me, that's elevated. I anticipate our legal issue, or our legal costs being more in line with this year than the budgeted 175. Because they were actually down, what, 50, is that what her email said, 50,000? I
Okay, so
can't
she
get my
went
computer to
conservative.
turn on, hold on.
Yeah, Yeah, they were down 50,000 from.
Right. Hold on one second, I can. Yeah, so I would actually lower that.
What would you like?
Just one other thing.
I was just gonna say that to you.
I was waiting for it.
You're welcome.
One other thing. When you said about the Act 13, the monies from the state, is it that 300, it's 300, you lowered it to 325,000? For 2024 the request? It was
Yes.
468?
Yes.
Have we gotten 468 yet, or is that just a forecast?
I cannot get my computer.
We have gotten 468.
Okay. And shouldn't we be getting more, being that we're going to have more wells in Cecil?
Well,
I mean, there's supposed to be 4 more going in on the Poly, and then there's the Bernard Schultz. I'm just wondering if that's going to come into play.
Quite honestly, I can't figure out the calculation because we've been adding wells for years and the number stays very similar, or very average, but Peters Township basically outlaws drilling and they get millions in Act 13 money, so the calculation makes no sense to me.
We're working it, Darlene.
well, it's based on an annual average price, and they're assuming there's going to be a 20% decline in new well spuds. Impact fee revenues for calendar year 2023, well, they're expecting for next year, the largest year-over-year decline since the fee's inception.
Jack, and Bernard Schultz won't be in production next year, right? Because they're gonna do the air rig in the spring and the big rig in the fall. Isn't that what's on the schedule? Okay. But it takes what? How long does it take for it to be in production? That's what I thought. Yeah, 6 to 8 months. So you're not talking about an active producing well until end of 2024. Right, so it
Yeah,
won't
but
even be,
even if it's a 20% decrease they're predicting, that would still be 374,000,
it wouldn't be? Or
not
it would be?
325,000.
Right.
I mean, if the state is telling us that Act 13 monies are gonna be.
20%, I mean, I don't doubt that, but it's still, it would be 374, not 325.
But that was an off year, like, we don't normally get that much money in impact fee, historically.
20%
Well, we will
reduction is
now.
20%.
Right,
Up to you.
right.
Right, we'll still be on it.
Okay.
What page were you on, Susan?
IT networking services, I've increased that, because we have a request for a couple new computers for next year. Engineering services, I kept it the same as 2023. Looks like this year we might come in lower than what, 21 was our highest year, 22 we were at 193, this year 195, so hopefully.
Can we make that 200 and, like, sit down and have a similar conversation with Gateway like we did with our solicitor last year, and just say, you need to rein in, we need to rein in costs? Because 245 is high, especially because a lot of our, like our public works building will be done.
But that comes out of the bond.
I know, but like overall, general engineering next year, like we don't.
Base it off. That program, notwithstanding any other work you ask the engineers. to do for you.
That means that's $160,000
No, I get that, right, I'm just laying out the numbers that you can.
in extra. That's what I'm saying. Like 200, I would be comfortable with. 245 feels high to me, but it's
Yeah, I
up
don't
to you.
think it's gonna go up from what we asked for. Most of that's extra that we require.
Yes, right,
Like we had that realignment at,
right, realignment or Kuma Road, or whatever other, issues you have been working on.
Yeah.
That's what goes in there.
What about that solicitor's
So what, you wanna
Do
reduce that to
200,000.
200,000?
Yeah,
we can leave it at 245. I don't actually want to spend 245 if we can help it.
What did you want to change legal to?
Hold on, I wrote it down.
It's at 175.
150 or 125. We just, I mean, you can't anticipate what's gonna happen throughout the year, but I just don't see, do you foresee any major legal?
I
What, the solicitor?
don't suspect there'll be any major litigation. I mean, the board is aware of what
I
litigation is
thought you
going
was
on right
talking
now.
about
Right, which is very little.
engineering.
Yeah.
but we're actually
You
talking
could
legal.
speculate as to what possible scenarios you may have, but
So would you suggest 150?
Yeah, let's make that 150.
150 for solicitor.
for solicitor legal services, yes.
Just write it down for now, you can discuss what you want. And I still think we're gonna cut down on engineering fees too.
Yeah, do you wanna
Hope
bump that
so.
to 200,000, Tom? you said?
Yes, I think that's what Cindy talked about too. 200.
Okay. General government buildings. That's the cleaning person salary, building supplies, the maintenance of the building, any repairs, utilities, and hopefully a new sign outside.
Is that capital outlay? Your sign, Cindy?
Yeah,
Yours?
We have to come up with different names, because every time somebody says Cindy, I'm like, what?
no, we both
That's okay, it's
will.
not your fault, it's her name.
Ms. Stevens, is that for the sign up front?
Mrs. Stevens,
Yeah,
Are we gonna get a new sign?
that's the plan.
When?
Soon?
Since you budget for it.
Yeah, we'll order it in January 2024. Don't
You
give,
also have- you also
don't
need-
give me that look like I'm the one that wouldn't buy it this year.
You also
You
need-
yell at me
It's
for
not
everything I
Hey,
wanna spend.
It's, listen, the guy that's really been complaining, he's not sitting here right now. I wished he was, because he kept saying.
You wanna jump in his seat and you can pretend
No.
like you're him?
He's the one that's saying that we can't afford a sign outside our building.
We can, but you tell me I spend too much, so we're reining it in.
Well, yes, we gotta rein it in. We gotta
I
cut,
am.
we gotta cut costs, but
We don't have to cut costs, we have to spend wisely.
You also need a new roof for this building as well.
Oh,
a
fun,
what?
New roof. That's not in there.
How
fun.
many years
What's,
has it
the-
been?
what's the cost estimate?
2007?
What's the cost, this roof?
Almost- yeah,
Probably
I'll give it over
200.
20 years, Tom.
Nice.
We're going up there on Monday to,
I think if you look at the plaque in the front, wasn't it 2005? So it's, what was it, 2000? Maybe 2000. I mean, you're close, you're over 20 years on this roof.
No, no, they're 30-year shingles though.
the singles.
They are, their duration.
The shingles are starting to curl up.
That's if they're curling up, that's because there's not enough ventilation.
Yeah, it's bad. We need gutters also.
Well, there goes your 50,000, Tom. Did anybody see him stick his tongue out at me?
A big blue tarp,
Oh,
Hey, that's right.
like Joe Perry did on his house.
couple sheets of plywood and a big blue
So
tarp.
we'll be up there Monday.
Would you consider a metal roof, Tom?
Take it over into the kitchen over here.
Be worth pricing.
Huh?
It's gonna be worth pricing.
If you
It
had to
ain't that
guess,
much
what
more.
would you say
I
the
know, 'cause you don't have
cost
to
would
rip
be?
off.
I would say probably about $150,000, $175,000.
I just told her 200.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I would seriously look at a metal roof.
They're noisy though.
And you don't have
So
to
what?
tear,
No, they'll put purlins on top with,
Oh, if you do it that way, yes.
insulation and then put the panels on top.
yeah, they don't even tear the shingles off.
Right, yeah, just do it right over top.
As long as
Come
the
on, you
roof
got-
can hold it.
I have a metal roof, it's not long.
As long as the roof can hold it. We tore ours off and put the metal roof.
I like the way it looks too.
You don't have to tear them.
You don't, but
Not with
Cleaner.
trusses. You have stick built.
on.
Okay,
Going down
we're
where
gonna,
the pool-
we're gonna have to find money
The
for
guy
metal roof.
recommended
Anyways,
us taking
moving
the
on.
shingles.
Bill, what else do we need besides the roof? Didn't you tell me something else?
Shingles, not shingles, but gutters. Gutters need.
Yeah.
New gutters.
Well, they would come with a metal roof, I think.
Yeah, because they're different. You don't use the same
For a
ones.
cost.
Right, you'll use a larger size gutter with a
Well, it's an whole different attachment.
Okay.
We may, and I'm not sure, we may have to take a close look at these skylights.
They're always closed anyhow.
Right.
We used to use them.
Can't believe the person that built this building put skylights in.
Close them.
It was
They're
nice
nothing
and
but a
bright during
problem.
the- It was nice and bright during the daytime.
Tom
We didn't-
built the
We didn't have
building.
to turn these lights on.
A former building inspector used to tell me, windows belong on the side of your home, not on.
Agree with you, Don.
Correct.
We should open that one, Tom, right above
That's
you and see
windows
what
were made for,
happens.
The side of your house, not for the roof.
Ready to fall.
Huh?
When it's gonna fall.
I mean, that would be easily eliminated too if we get a new roof. I mean, it just,
Yeah,
remove
let-
the panels.
What? I actually forgot they were there until just now. All right, moving on.
First
Okay.
10 years we used them.
Sure.
Police section, salaries are the first part of it.
That's mostly
Yes.
contractually obligated.
All right. Goes on to page 9. Fuel, we increased that slightly. Ammunition, we took money out of that. So that offsets the fuel increase. We took money out of radios and maintenance on the radios. We kept dues and subscriptions the same, and we kept contracted services the same. That covers things like the dues is like LexiPol, Power DMS, the Plate Smart program, the SWAT program, our dues, our membership for that, Active 911, different organizations that they belong to.
Major equipment insurance for that. too.
Major equipment is for 2 vehicles and warranties. And then minor equipment will cover cameras, Motorola. Sean, do you want to add anything to your section?
No, just so we know, we're on a 5-year plan for the new camera. Keep the costs down, so that we're in our 2nd year. As well as you know, it's much needed. It saves you probably cost on legal fees and everything else, or complaints, or any other issues when it comes to problems, or us knowing what's going on the road. But, this was last year's.
Hey, Sean,
Yes.
what about our K-9?
So.
$3,500?
Yeah, we,
$3,200 for this year forecast?
yeah, so we do have,
Veterinary-
MC Crete, she does pay for the, any
Veterinarian?
kind of fees, but for example, he just had to get, I guess it would be an x-ray. he has a mass in his foot. So we're hoping it's not cancer, but typically Kim does not pay for those. She'll pay for like the visits or any kind of like, small medications or if he gets sick. But, those are just in case situations or if he gets hurt.
How old is he, 6?
He's 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Is he 8 already?
he's already 8, yes.
How many sick days does he get?
I'm sorry, what? What kind of benefits? That's his benefit package, and if Darlene didn't buy the dog food, that's basically what that's for, so. We've never really ever gone over, and in all sincerity, if I would need help, somebody out there would help us. Yeah.
So, 8 years old, what was,
Minor was about 8 when he was retired, but he's in good shape, he's running around, but I am concerned about the mass. So he did take him today to get checked, the results are not in, so, but I'll keep you guys informed of that. But that money, it's definitely a comfortable spot, we never had anything extra, so,
gotta take care of him?
I'm sorry?
Gotta take care of him.
Absolutely, yep.
It's hard to
That
believe.
is for harnesses, anything he eats inside the vehicle, which he eats a lot of stuff, like the bowls, the mats, but anything that goes bad, that's what we buy.
Front seats.
Yeah, he does eat a lot of stuff in the vehicle. The fan on the door, he ate that before, so, yeah, they like to chew on things. But not people, yeah.
He's like a puppy.
He lets him run loose when he
The next section is fire. I left the fire chief salary there. You guys can decide what you're doing there. Mac, before he had left, he had given me some things he wanted to see in the budget. One of them was a full-time firefighter. Wages are still in there for the part-time firefighters. The duty shifts, that's the volunteers that have duty shifts. Training. Basically, we've fine-tuned this a little bit more from this year for next year. Health insurance would cover 2 people, the fire chief and the full-time officer, or full-time fireman, sorry. Everything else is pretty much the same. Some areas we've taken money from and added it to others as we're learning what the fire companies, where they need the money placed.
Can
One
we
thing-
consider upping our contribution to McDonald Fire Department? They basically do this entire,
It's 15.
yeah, they do this entire side of Cecil.
I mean, 15's a bargain. You good with that?
Can we hold up on that a little bit till we figure out where we're going with these fire departments?
Well,
There's no budget for it.
even if we
Okay, I just
say
wanted
it,
to
doesn't
ask.
mean we're gonna pay it out, yeah.
Yeah, if we contract or something, we would. take it
And
out
at the end of the day,
computer
even if we
supplies.
have a full-time, they still respond to the, like,
I
McDonald
understand that,
Edge.
yes.
Like Peters does, we should consider, because Peters is covering Traditions of America for us. So we should consider,
Well, they was up in Georgetown pretty fast, too.
yeah, we should consider talking to Mike McLaughlin about that.
Yeah, we do have a couple questions, like computer supplies at 15,000, and the vehicle repairs, which, kind of repairs do we anticipate? for
Muse's
15,000?
truck, Muse's one truck is falling apart. But then I also see that we have $140,000 in for truck payments.
That one truck was $33,000.
Muse's one engine
John
is
Taylor ran off
constant.
the road.
Yeah, and Muse's one engine is constantly in for repairs.
So the computer supplies went from 2,000 to 15,500?
I don't know what that is.
What do you think?
Let me find it, hold on.
So that was something I was working with Mac on. Currently, we have 4 recording systems in the township. The township has one, and the fire station
were looking at combining those together and getting one system for everybody. That was one of the prices that came in. I talked to Cindy about putting that budget. Put that together.
It makes sense, because it's a cost savings in the end.
So it's gonna be all combined, four systems combined into one.
Correct. It would cover all the incident reporting, all the fire inspection reporting, and all the day-to-day tasks that go.
When could that come about? Like, when could that happen where we have to buy it or pay for it?
I don't know when it came about.
No, he's saying how quickly could we make that happen?
We can start it if we can.
Well, I wonder how slowly we can make it happen too. All right, go ahead.
Was there outstanding contract?
There's nothing we haven't agreed to anything at this point. We haven't signed anything, so we're not committed. That's what you're asking.
Are there outstanding contracts that have to, terminate before you can lump it all into one? Yeah, that's what we would have to look at. We would have staggered, contracts for it.
You're talking under emergency reporting, right?
He's talking about like at the various stations, like Muse's may end at one point, Lawrence's may end at
Well,
another
right,
point, yeah.
But it's the, I
Yeah.
was talking about which software was.
Right, okay. So when you're saying 140,000 in truck payments, is that new truck payments, or that's their truck
That's the
payments?
existing.
For the
That's what it
truck
was.
payments, you're looking at Brentwood Bank, there's a truck payment to Brentwood Bank
You can have it.
for Lawrence. That's 50, they're for existing trucks.
So they're paying 140,000 a year for how many years?
I'd have to look at them. I don't think I have them all here.
We upped the Lawrence, we compounded to pay, I think, biannually as opposed to monthly. We, paid that off much quicker.
That just seems insanely high, because they're saying they paid half down. And if they paid half down and we're still paying $140,000 a year,
Well, you have, for Lawrence's truck, for that one, it's 54,500.
okay.
I'll have to look at the end dates. I don't have that here tonight.
Per year, 54.5 per year.
Yeah, these are all
Certainly not
annual
this year.
payments. For number 2,
Let's
they have
use.
2 payments on their truck. They have KS Bank for 56,560, and then they have a Pima loan.
Why do they have 2 loans for
Probably
one?
because they have 2 trucks. That's when they bought the Toyota pickup right before Mac was hired.
No, it's on one truck. It's on, yeah.
So it's 56,560, and what was the other amount?
I don't have the,
Sorry, I should.
$15,212.
So they're spending,
And then
Almost
number 3 has
$70,000.
Pima loan on a truck for 11,600.
well, that's probably the Toyota pickup. But they're spending $70,000 on what, their ladder truck?
Probably. Yeah, it would have to be, that's the one that's outstanding.
Well, he said it was 72,000 a year.
Their ladder truck, yeah.
Corey said that once.
Ouch.
Well, at least this will get our names on it, right, before we make this payment.
No, I mean, this is just what we're paying.
I know,
But Tom's saying going forward, we're
Oh,
not
well,
gonna
that's-
make a payment without our name being on the truck. That's not a
What was
budget
the
discussion.
11,600 for?
Policy, right.
That's a policy discussion, not a budget discussion.
Station 3.
Station
That's
3.
Cecil,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're looking confused over there when they said about putting our name on a truck.
So we're just making payments.
so no,
Our
it
name-
makes sense.
The township's name is not on the vehicles. We're just making payments.
Well, I understand, I know that, but I'm just
Yeah.
gonna tell you though, that all these years, we've never ever mentioned that until all of a sudden someone tells us that, if they dissolve, they're gonna give it away to somebody else, Cecil won't get it. Meaning Cecil Township won't get their trucks that we're paying for. So I wouldn't make another payment on a truck until our name is on it.
So you need to bring that up in December then, because that's a policy, not a budget. So, okay, sorry.
Well, yeah,
so-
the money still has to be in there.
Right, I'm not disagreeing with this part of it, but I'm just saying bring that up at
And
ordinance
as far
meeting.
as the 50,000 for repairs and maintenance on the trucks?
I got you. I thought it was what the Mac had or something like that.
Oh, okay, no.
And you talked about up in McDonald, 15.
To 15,000, yeah.
Is that even fair? Did I just make up a number?
What, I didn't.
15 to McDonald?
Yeah, I'm fine with that,
I mean, is it fair?
yeah.
Is it fair, I mean, is it high enough?
No, but, I mean, that's triple what we're paying right now.
Well, that wasn't fair what we were paying. We were,
Well, but keep in mind, we were giving 5, and then Cecil was taking money, like their own money, and making an extra payment too. I want to say it was 10. So I think combined, we were paying 15, but it was a contribution from Cecil too. We need to pay it. Like at this side of the township, like all the way to the township building, they're first on the scene always.
that's what I'm saying. When I said 15, was that enough?
No?
I mean, I just don't want to sponge off of them.
They also came when there was a real bad storm, they were up there cutting trees up on Profield and everywhere, helping our township out.
Every time there's an emergency in my neighborhood, McDonald is the fire company
Should we
that
do
comes.
25?
If we can afford it. Let's get through the rest, but if we can afford it.
Okay, the contribution to Southbridge, I kept it at 50.
Tom, do you want to say something about that now? You let it go.
I'll talk to him.
Okay. But this is going to get advertised.
It won't be, out of that department, it won't be 10%. Don, I was talking about increasing up and at the South Bridge. We gotta keep them viable, and,
Right.
Cindy suggested we try to find out what kind of,
Dedicated
yeah,
service.
dedicated service we can get.
You're not wrong, though. That's not a 10% change, so. Greater. Right.
Next section, 413 and 414, code enforcement salaries, the zoning officer salaries, zoning hearing board, payroll taxes, health insurance, material and supplies, I kept the same. Building inspections, I dropped that down. Legal fees are the same. No, I left in here comprehensive plan at 4,000, but that's like, also like the zoning updates that Jack's been working on.
Do we
That's
just
what-
want to change the name of that?
I can change it to zoning updates.
Yeah, so then it's like more of a general category.
This office machine lease,
That's the plotter,
it's the what?
plotter.
Okay, okay, is that the one back in,
Yes.
Is his office. And then, conferences and dues. That's the conference that Mike goes to. Is there anything you wanna add, Jack?
Cindy, just, where's the revenue from the building permit fees? What's the category?
It would be used under the zoning and code enforcement, so you
Oh,
have
the
your.
revenue, something like that.
The revenue, that is, it's on page 4, the first line item,
Oh, there it is.
Very, I'm sorry.
362, 410. The other
See, we're
pub,
showing a revenue of 250 and an expenditure of 175. So it's not like, you know, we're not getting covered for the administrative things that we do.
Right, I agree.
I mean, that's a lump sum, that's lumping building and zoning together though, Tom.
Yeah,
You talking about like when someone requested zoning hearing, variance?
Because he wants to change the way that it's allocated, or what?
Yeah, but the bulk of that is still for the permit fee though, out of that two.
Other, the school crossing guard, I mean, it's, nothing changes there. I slightly increased animal control, but that's only by 500, just because if she does something other than her contracted services, we have to pay for it.
Are we using her a lot?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Recycling, that's the, leaf collection, and also, tires, when we have tires that we have to get rid of, that's tire recycling. It's higher this year because we bought recycling bins. Public Works. The first part is salaries, overtime, sick time, payroll, taxes, health insurance, things of that nature. It's not until you get to 43220 you start getting into shop supplies. That's for things that they need, general things they need down at the shop. Slight increase there, not just because of inflation. Fuel, I increased that just because prices have been fluctuating and they're gonna be over. Small tools are the same. We reduced the lease of the building because that's the building that they rent off of Mr. Fuchs. And hopefully with the new building, we won't need to lease that building off him for the storage of some of the equipment. Dues and subscriptions, we reduced it by 1,000. Uniforms are the same. PA1 calls, there's been an increase in the 1 calls, so I increased that slightly. Offset it by the workshops that have been reduced. Winter maintenance, salt.
Do we think we're gonna have a bad winter?
We're supposed to,
Yeah,
it's in the predictions.
Nobody knows that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they're saying, but
It just
the
seems so
Farmer's
warm right
Almanac
now.
says.
It just seems so warm right now.
Price of salt is up, of course.
When I started back in 2013, we were paying 38 and 38 a ton. We're now paying 81, 84 a ton.
What happened?
Everything went up,
time passed.
yeah.
I missed the opportunity to invest.
You should have bought it all when it was 39 bucks.
Yeah, and stored it at your house.
Traffic control devices, traffic signs, street name signs, we kept that the same. Traffic signals, that's the electric, that's up slightly. Nothing ever goes down. Traffic signal repairs, I increased that by 5,000. Stormwater supplies, that's anytime they do inlet repairs.
Hold on, Cindy. Traffic signals repairs, 66,000. 2023 year-end forecast. 15 was budgeted, and you're requesting 20 for 2024. Where did that 66,000 come in at?
We had to, there was a project called Green Light Go that was completed. Most of the work was completed in '21, but there was still some outstanding work that was completed this year.
And where was that at?
It's in South Point.
Boulevard.
Okay.
That won't be reoccurring, that was a one-time as part of the Green Light Go project. So it's not a reoccurring.
Yes, Borough
Already
paid for the bulk
improvements.
of that.
This was the final of those.
I was just wondering if that's where it was coming from.
I think we have replaced some controller boards as well this year, so traffic was up a little bit this year for the controllers.
437, parts and supplies and repairs and maintenance. Yeah, that's for the repairs. The 230 or 251, that's for the actual parts, when our mechanics do the work on the vehicles. The 451 line item is for when the repairs are sent out. Now, we reduced by 15,000 when the trucks are sent out and put the 15,000 into the parts and supplies, because they now have a program where they can scan the vehicles and do more of the work in-house. So that's helped significantly.
That was the diesel application program that we can use diagnostic tools. Allowed us to keep most of the repairs in-house, didn't have to send them out. So we spent more on parts this year, less on outbound services.
In the next section, 438, maintenance and repairs of roads. That's when they're doing in-house paving. So if they need the aggregates, if they, the asphalt, things of that nature, and equipment rental, if they need equipment. Road construction, the capital road program. There's $1 million for that next year. I'm going to stop at that point and ask Bill for those sections so far that you're in charge of. Do you have anything you want to add to any of those sections? Okay. Parks, the first couple items are, of course, salaries again, payroll, taxes. Park improvements, 75,000. I don't know what you'd want to do.
Was there anything on the drawing boards? Cindy, do you know of anything?
For,
To
sorry,
spend that 75?
For parks?
for
Bill,
what?
Yeah, I have repairs to do.
I don't usually pick that, Bill
I have
does.
some, going to and stage.
Nothing fun?
Radar right now.
We have nothing fun. I thought we were gonna add playground equipment.
Pardon?
Aren't we gonna add playground equipment?
Take a look at that.
Or something fun?
Well, we have something we have to use.
That's what I meant.
We need to do some improvements there. Take a look at the number and see where the playground improvements are.
Let me, I can work on a DCNR grant too for
Not doing that.
let me look at the grants and see if we can
Bill,
get a
weren't they
DCNR
wanting
grant.
a small pavilion up in Hill Station?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure, I mean, that's,
I just don't know how much it'd be used.
It wouldn't be that much money for a small pavilion.
I've mentioned before that someday we put a trail around that park. We might get a lot more people over there to walk, you know. Big enough, I mean, it's big enough. Nice walking path, like you do here, people do laps, and that's what pretty much you would want to do up there. Have the width for it, you do the paving on that. Doing it in phases. Subgrade with the, just a gravel walking path and then the
trail.
covered with asphalt. That's pretty. From just a gravel, that's something we're talking about.
Is there a solution for drainage out there?
It just has to be installed. I mean, we know where we need to run it to. But you don't want to do anything. You put a,
That's what I'm asking, is there, that's what I meant, is there,
Do you feel like the use over there has declined?
hard to say, I don't know.
Jack,
It's an older community over there.
don't you,
We're large?
We're leasing, the soccer field over we're asking for drainage and everything like that. They want a big container over there to put a quad in there, drag that, and that's stuff down the road, but I don't think it's decrease. I don't think that. No, I don't think that. Parking's an issue. The surrounding community, not sure how many people in those meetings and, Yeah, well, we did have one group that's coming from who knows where using that field because it was, and it's not. Perfect. You're right, I don't think it's that big. It's a nice park, and a lot of good things. Yeah, that's all. And there's still that unused, and I've looked at that, there's enough room, there's enough room over there for 3 pickleball courts. The funny space, that's just where you still, well, so, I'll just get over the side, like that, to have a space.
All right, well, Bill, we're putting 75,000 in there, and it doesn't sound like there's anything earmarked yet to spend it, so.
We never do right now. We always just start and know that that's the limit, and then Bill works on throughout the year, because like, for example, we had that playground equipment break over at Cecil Park, and we needed to spend the money. Yeah, we did, but I'm just saying, like, we didn't, that was not an anticipated expenditure.
If you haven't been over there,
They're good.
over the park, you have to check them out, they're pretty cool. Crank them up and start pressing buttons and it talks back.
Oh, yeah, I saw you talking to the guy when you were ready to order.
Right, but they're in, we've installed them. I have a slide section that we're waiting for the contractor to get scheduled, because we have a, FYI. There's a post that supports the bottom of the slide, and in order to get that, stabilized, they have to cut the surface. That contractor will also place that back in and that. Also, there's a void or a time zone, and that area there is going to be replaced also. We've already got that, contract.
Bill, one more thing on that field, when I met you out there in the spring, you said that it might be better you might have to regrade an area rather than just putting drainage in.
Right.
Did you come up with something better now that you just said you have a plan?
Well, I don't have a plan. That means, we have to put a plan together for that. You know what I mean? So, there's still some fall issues over there that have to be addressed.
How do you address it? How do you put a plan together?
Yeah,
Dan for aerial,
you have to do some grading over there to get the water to drain to the area. That's,
you said, that's a pretty extensive area of grading, and that has to be reestablished.
Right.
Do you think our guys are gonna do that, or are you gonna have to bid that out?
finding the time to do it, you know, so.
All right, but I don't wanna keep putting it off just until you find out this year they didn't have time, next year they might not have time, the year after. If you don't think they're gonna have time, we at least get a price on it, if you have to bid it out.
Okay.
This is just earth guys, that's all, if you bid it.
I'll have to go over and shoot some elevations. Let me shoot some elevations over there to see how much grading has to be done.
Because you know the areas where you have to chase it
Yeah, I
to.
do. Yeah. Yeah, but there's some other areas I need to get water to flow into that swell, because there's, the pockets over there, once you drain it all, it can fall, and correct, and you can pound on that socket there.
That's major though, to put a crown on it.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, if you did what you just talked about, some of the grading to get it to that swell, and then pick up the individual pockets with just just for its drains, I mean, that's
We can get
practical.
We can get some of that drainage installed, some of the long runs, and maybe a couple at the backstop, one running down the right field line.
Basically, yeah. And then you can always tap into that if you do other areas. All right,
I'll look, I'll put it on the.
all right.
Hey, Bill, that property beside parking over there, do the firemen own that, or are they renting that, or what?
Well, the firemen, I guess, have an agreement with the contractor installing the sanitary line. So they're staging from that parking lot.
But you don't think they own it on?
I don't think they do, no. That may have changed. I'm not.
Pardon me?
I thought a church.
A church owned that, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I didn't think that they sold.
Okay, over on to page 15, it's just the utilities for the park and lawn care. Next section is library contributions and donations. We do the library contributions to Canonsburg, and we do a small one to Heritage House. Civil and military celebrations, that's the fireworks and Memorial Day for the VFW. And then it goes down to debt principal, that's the 2 bond issues, debt interest. That's the interest on the bond issues. Unemployment compensation, that's a tax you gotta pay. Page 16, uniform pension and non-uniform pension, that's the cost of the pensions. That's offset somewhat by the state aid that comes in on the revenue side. The 457 pension, that's a contractual obligation. Workers' compensation, that's for the municipal employees. And yeah, this is all insurance stuff now. That's it.
Anything anybody wants to go back to?
Don, just so I'm clear, what's the, we can change the line items? Does it go by departments now, or just line items for if we adopt a preliminary budget and then we want to change it for the final? What's the,
I can't.
Okay, so right now I have changes to line item on page 4 to the soccer ball field rentals.
Yep,
Gonna increase that to
10,000.
10,000. And then on page 7, for legal fees, reduce that to 150.
well, we skipped page 3, we talked about upping the gas tax to the 20% cut. The Act 13? Mm-hmm. I told you if it's 20% decrease, it should be.
Can I find out, can I ask Jason Ortizai before we just up that?
He's not the one, he's not the one.
He's the one that tells us every year what the gas amount, what the amount we're getting is.
She said she was told it was gonna be cut 20%.
Yeah, I got the same notification, but I just want to confirm with him that before we up it.
All right, what's the rule on that, just in case?
He's looking it up.
Well, would you be comfortable to go into the 2022 year of 370,000?
Well,
You
that's
see?
basically 20% less than this,
I'm fine with that.
yeah,
You do
that's,
that?
yeah, that's
Okay, we'll change that to,
22% or something.
okay, so we'll change it to 370,000. We did that one.
You're gonna change on page 10, the McDonald Borough contribution.
Okay, well, page 8 was engineering to 200,000.
Yes.
It's 10% in aggregate, so for any line item, and 25% in any major category.
25% in a major category, so yeah, we're nowhere, all right, we're good.
Page 10, McDonald Fire Department to 15,000.
Yep.
change the name on page 12 from comprehensive plan to zoning updates.
Yep,
But I'm sorry, did I miss legal? You were dropping that?
we are to 150.
All right. And then we're dropping legal and engineering.
Yep. Engineer, she said that, engineering to 200, legal to 150.
Supposed to make the change for recreation and revenue up to 10K for the,
Yeah, she said that. I think I'm the only one paying attention. You?
Hey, somebody has to.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I said-
You're fine. You're good. Yeah, she made that change.
That's it.
Okay. Is everybody okay with that? Any comments,
We're good-
questions?
We're good, I'm good for a preliminary budget.
Okay. So we're gonna take two items. So the first one, because this was advertised as a special meeting on November 8th, 2023. So this is 204, 2023, consider adoption of the preliminary 2024 budget. Now, keep in mind, this just basically authorizes us to advertise it to the public for 20 days, and then we'll have to take a second vote to actually formally adopt it.
Yeah, we're required, in case you didn't know, to adopt a preliminary budget by November 30th. Right? November 30th?
Yes,
We have till
because it
December.
has to be advertised by
Well,
20
You have
days.
to adopt a final
Fi-
budget
fi-
by December 31st.
Yeah, but I thought we have a preliminary budget, we have a deadline too.
No, there's no
We
deadline
used
for
to
that.
have it. Well,
Well, yeah, there would have to be a deadline because it has to be advertised for 20 days.
Right, so we would just have to,
And we're good on that, I'm just saying, I was just telling people why we have to do preliminary budget officially.
All the people in the audience.
Is this preliminary budget gonna be on our website?
Yeah.
Everything that's on here, it's gonna be on a website, so, residents can pull it up and see, and
It won't be ready till Monday because we're off tomorrow.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be right this second.
My boss told me if I did a really good job tonight, he'd give me tomorrow off.
oh, woo-hoo.
Everybody?
Yeah, pressure was on me tonight, man.
Or it's Veterans Day and the whole office
there
is
is no
closed.
cutoff on.
Or
a
that.
One or the other.
There is no mention of a preliminary budget date, other than the final budget must be adopted by December.
But why would we wait? I mean, it's ready to
Yeah, right, I
go.
mean, you have 20 days.
So
You
is
have to
there a
have 20 days.
motion to adopt the preliminary 2024 budget?
So moved.
Is there a second? I'll second. Moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-0. So we're
So
gonna,
this will be on the website
Monday.
Monday. Well, what are you doing Saturday and Sunday?
Same thing I'm doing tomorrow.
Not working. And then the next one is consider a parking ordinance for Wildwood Drive. We already have a let me pull that up. We already have a parking ordinance in place, so we can't really make any changes to that tonight.
We can name Wildwood
Yes,
Drive as the.
hold on, I'm
Okay,
gonna
all right,
read,
okay.
yes, yes. Bear with me. There is.
Not amending the ordinance.
So we're not amending the ordinance, but we're designating the street by saying as set forth as the number of spots, which I'm fairly certain, Bill, we've come up with 2 per lot. We're gonna do an application, so the residents that live on Wildwood Drive will have to fill out an application. Are we doing a permit fee, or are we just saying it's designated per house?
It should be, it has to be a fee involved, maybe just $5 or
That's
something.
what, okay, so $5 per
Nominal
permit.
fee. Dawn, what do you think?
Should be, if you're gonna, if you intend to use some sort of placard in the vehicle.
Right.
Okay, so, so the actual permits, we can create something that they can pick up from Teresa.
You can have Joe create
Yeah.
Joe Capola create either a sticker or something.
Yeah.
What about when he got towed, where
It's
they
not
towed
easily
him?
reproduced on
Well,
your
we'll have to
PC
figure
at
that
home,
out.
you know, something.
Cecil, right, yes, yes. Cecil would need time periods when permit is effective. I mean, I think it's 24/7, 365.
That's a residential street.
And physical signs along the street, we'll work on that. So we're gonna say, consider designating, the parking ordinance between blank and blank as a residential permitted parking area with an ordinance, and we'll came up with, to allow for no more than 2 parking permits per single-family dwelling. Permits must be issued to residents as defined in the ordinance. Permits will be effect for the hours between, well, we're not saying that, we're taking that part out. Permits are effective 24/7, 365. An annual fee of, are we doing an annual fee or a one-time fee? One-time fee, that's what I think
Yeah, we
too.
don't wanna be in
So a one-time fee of $5 per permit shall be paid to the Township of Cecil, which fee may be amended from the time to time by resolution of the board. So we're adding a parking ordinance for Wildwood Drive for 2 permits per house at a cost of $5. Dawn's gonna handle the issuing of the permit, the application with Gretchen, she'll say she said she helped with that, and the sticker or whatever we're doing. And they can be picked up at Cecil Township. It's effective 24/7,
And the road is
365.
Cowden to, what's that connector street down on the?
Unnamed, it's an unnamed alley, so I think Dan described it as from Cowden to Terminus, Tom,
Yes.
with respect to Wildwood.
Hold
Okay.
on, I have that too.
Wildwood actually starts down on,
The applicable street would be Wildwood from Cowden to its terminus.
All right, you said blank to blank.
if you look at this map here, Wildwood starts down on, Redwood.
You're talking about the alleyway that comes through?
No. No, if you, this street right here, they actually have
Yes,
this.
right.
Except by that
Yeah.
stop sign.
That's coming, and it makes the turn onto.
Yeah, but we're not gonna have permitted parking on there.
No, we're not, no. I was surprised. What is the name of that? There's not a street sign right there. So I have Joe making a street sign for Wildwood right down here at Redwood, no?
No,
That's confusing. I'll put the Wildwood up.
Yeah.
It's just an unnamed alley.
Unnamed alley, okay. I'll have
Yeah.
Joe make the sign up.
Slated
No.
a certain place.
Yes.
And
Yes,
if it's not in there,
yes.
okay. So, we're not looking for something, and it's gonna be difficult for the officers if it's not displayed in the.
That's what
marketplace.
Dawn was saying. We'll create something with Joe that is, like, can't be replicated so that
Okay.
nobody can create
And
five.
if they lose it,
And we'll make,
you guys
We'll
charge
keep
them
track
again.
of it.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll
They
charge them
include that
again.
language on part of the application process so that those applying for those permits on that application are clear of the language. Cindy, the 24.
Sorry.
Yes. Placard must be visible at all times.
And we
Yeah.
should describe where it should be on a car, the same spot, back left corner up there, or something, just so they're all the same.
Yes.
So the other issue that you have to address up there is that designated area. From this point to this point, those permits are permitted to park between each two locations.
Right, and that's where the signs will be.
Yeah.
So it'll be parking, permit parking between these signs.
You like lettering these signs, or
Well,
Yeah,
numbering
we'll
these
look,
signs, or what?
Bill and I are looking at the UTCD to see if there's.
What are you
Keep
gonna
in
do
mind
about
this-
people parking in the alley?
As long as they're not blocking the alley,
Well, if they park in the alley, they have to block the alley. There's nowhere to go.
unless they're.
These permits do not apply to the alley.
This is only for.
These permits do not apply to the alley.
As I mentioned this before, that alleyway is not wide enough for us to plow up there. It narrows to 8 foot, 7 inches, and the blade is 9 foot, 3 inches. And I have no idea, I don't think it should be maintained during the winter time. I don't know how you maintain that. I don't have a blade that will go up through there.
I understand that. What I'm saying is, they're complaining that one lady has 5 cars. So they're gonna let her park 2 on top. Where's she gonna put the other 3? In the alley down below? Then what's gonna happen is they're gonna be calling the police.
She could create a parking spot, I would assume, off the alley down below.
Your driveway in her backyard.
And they can park along that connector alley that's abuts that stream. The connector alley that's at the terminus of Wildwood, they can park along there.
Ooh, that's tough. If we're coming down when we plow to make that turn, Tom.
That's a ravine there.
There's a berm there. I mean, they gotta find their own spot, they gotta make it, I mean, we're not gonna make spots for them, but if somebody has 5 vehicles, it's just like in Georgetown. People have some of those people, single car garage, and they buy a townhouse, and they say our kids have 3 other cars, so we have 5 cars, you buy 1 dry car.
We live that every day. And they hate us, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so just to be clear, we're not amending the current ordinance, we're simply just adding Wildwood to the existing ordinance. So do I have a motion to consider the parking ordinance for Wildwood Drive?
So we understand, though, they're not reserved spots.
No. It's just 2 spots per house.
If we want to amend the ordinance to allow it to be in front of their houses, that's another whole thing, but this does not give you a spot in front of your house, it gives you a spot in that zone. Don't you think we should? Yeah, I mean, it's up to the
We
board, too.
can in December, we didn't have enough time because an ordinance change requires more
Right,
advertising.
because it only makes sense to have your parking place in front of your house
That's
and
the
not,
ultimate goal, Darrell.
not at the other corner.
Right, we get that, and we all agree, we just couldn't do it in the 3 days between our meeting and now.
So moved.
I'll second, moved and seconded, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And this meeting is adjourned. Right now. Go start towing. Hey, I don't have any cars on my street. Woohoo! Enjoy your day off.
Thank you. I see this next 6 years ago, just as quick as the last 6 years.
Honestly.
It did go fast.
Every year goes faster.